Hey guys, Dave from Nerd Arc here, for Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with my gaming group, one of the many, and we're going to do some Dungeons and Downtimes with the Goblins. Anthony and Nicole here had some little misadventures or adventures, depending on how you would learn them. Why the rest of the gaming group was off doing Dragonborn stuff.
Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Dragonborn identity.
Dragonlands.
Dragonborn identity.
Dragging it up.
Dragonland, we can't say Dragonland.
Laying eggs and molten skins.
Pretty much. All right, I turn it over to you guys. What happened?
I don't really know where to start.
We were just looking to get wasted
Right,
in Mom's basement.
Mom has a wine cellar.
Oh, well, let's start here, right? So some asshole burned down your establishment where you guys worked.
It's true.
And lived.
And drank.
Luckily, you had built a relationship.
Most importantly.
And drink. Luckily, you guys had built a relationship with, kind of like the crazy cat lady of Gryffindor, who happens to also be kind of loaded. And she has no cats, but instead she found Goblins. And she was nice enough to put you guys up as long as you kept doing your performances, because she's one of your biggest fans.
And she's the best.
She is the best.
So they've been staying with moms.
We smoked the dank with moms on the
Yeah,
way.
we are messing up her house in a kindly way. But since we don't have anywhere to drink, we were like, well, Mom's got a basement full of liquor, big casks of liquor and so forth, and she can't make it down those steps as much as she probably should be able to stop us.
We're not taking advantage of her.
So we maybe raid her cellar once in a while. And while we were in the back of the cellar, we found that if we pressed a little knot on this big barrel, that the barrel would open up, and inside was some kind of crazy control room for some kind of device, which can be, I don't know if you want to use the name of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So it's essentially the inside of an apparatus to quash, right? Apparatus to quash looks like a barrel, so it's just tucked away in with the other barrels in the back of their cellar.
And as a side note, Mom's had a husband and two sons who've gone missing years ago.
Years ago they went missing, and I don't know if we've ever said Mom's last name, but I was going to say her last name's Qualsh, because I thought that would be hilarious,
okay, yeah,
hilarious and tie it in. And so we were like, hey, what's this? So we get inside it, and it closes behind us, and we cannot figure out how to open it from the inside. So we've been locked inside the apparatus of Qualsh for how long have we been adventuring?
It's been like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, so we've been in there. Now we are rangers, and we can cast Goodberry, but for us,
we only
it's
had
good
so much...
mushroom, and we grow mushrooms on our person, but we ran out of mushrooms eventually.
No, it's mistletoe. We ran out of sprigs of mistletoe.
No, ours is mushroom. I'm
Okay.
re-skidding that.
We ran out of sprigs
We
of
grow mushrooms in
toe.
our armpits. We can pass magic mushroom on them, and we get magic mushrooms. So we were able to live off of that for a while, and there's a log in there that we read some of that. We pieced together. We read okay,
I can read.
Some of it maybe.
Well, actually, you're the only one that can read it.
Why?
Because it was in a language that you couldn't understand, but you had that ring.
Oh.
That's right.
So there's a log in there. So we read the log. My worm ring kind of helps me piece through the wiggly text of it, and it tells us a tale of adventure of Mom's two sons.
Your two sons and her husband. Yeah.
Two sons and her husband. They were adventurers, and they had found out through means not explained in the book that there was a underground cavern system underneath a underground ocean. So if you went underground and found this underground lake / big ocean, under that there was a cavern system, and hidden within there was some great treasure that they weren't unsure of. So Mom's husband built the apparatus Qualsh. Mr. Qualsh built the apparatus Qualsh to dive. It's essentially a diving bell to go in here. But at the bottom of this lake was a giant ooze covering the entire opening of this lake. And only the apparatus Qualsh could get through it because it wouldn't melt as it went through the giant ooze. So according to what the book says, when they get down there, what they find is the great treasure is actually an ancient aboleth. And he is somehow got this message out that there's a treasure down here in the hopes that someone will come and help him. He'll be able to get the bodies to turn into scum to get him free from out from underneath this giant ooze. Unfortunately, or heroically, the father sacrifices himself fighting him off. The son, one of the sons dies. The other son gets slowly diseased and turns into a scum. And so while he's fighting turning into a scum and his mind's reeling, and in the book his writing goes all over the place. He jumps in the apparatus wall, comes back home, and as he's finally his mind is giving way, he sets up the apparatus squelch so that it can only be opened by someone who knows the key, and the scum version of him doesn't know the key code to get out, and he hides it in the back corner of Mom's basement, and that's where he's been. So he turned into a scum, lived out his crappy scum life as being a mindless thing, and in that way sacrificed himself so this Aboleth couldn't get out of the dungeons. And so we read this whole thing, and we're running out of food, and there's this kind of gross slime that's maybe spread along the insides of this thing and kind of growing, when we're not sure where that came from. So we decide that maybe we'll partake in this fungus, because we're nature types, and we're willing to try anything once, really.
We're gross ass.
Yeah, and it might have been vaguely man-shaped. This pile of growth on the inside of the barrel. And so we've been living off that for probably the last week. Pickle Dick has lost track of where Grundle Punch is inside the apparatus squelch. It's not a big space, but for them, it's a world unto its own. And they've been on many psychic dream quests, one might call them, spirit journeys. They've traveled all through the astral planes and many more in spectral form and so forth, having many otherworldly adventure and other dimensions, or at least that's what they feel like they did. And I've lost track of Grundle Punch, so eventually, I don't know how you guys find out about this when we come back to the party, but you will come down, track us in some way or another, and open up the back of that apparatus squelch, and you'll find me in there with glowing dark green fungus around my mouth, bugging out, looking left and right. And I'm like, I don't know what happened to Grundle Punch, but he's trying to get me. And then up from the ceiling like a ninja, Grundle Punch will drop down and then start biting my throat like a wild animal. And then we roll around for a while, and
In the goo, in the
we're
mansion.
back in the party.
Like, essentially, I envisioned the roly-polies from A Bug's Life.
Yeah, sure. So that was the backstory that we came up with for where we have been while you were fighting dragons.
Okay, so when we start off, you guys will be in the basement rolling around.
All right,
So until next time,
stay nerdy.